Welcome, everybody. What's happening? This is a new episode of Creepy Old Crap. I had to start with this is a new episode. This isn't an old one.
You haven't seen this one
You
before.
thought you already watched this one? Guess what? You didn't, because it's now. Great intro. This is great. Okay, we're here with a very special guest. We're doing something different. This is our Walt Disney World episode. So we're doing something different. We got a special guest. Kevin is joining us this week. You know, I was going to do it solo, but he was like, I've been to Disney World.
Threw me a bone.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to him. By the way, another special guest, also, Mr. Scott Herriott is with us.
Thank you.
You may remember him. You know, before recording this, I scoured the internet and I was like, okay, how can I give you the most hype intro?
Yeah.
And I checked your IMDb.
Oh yeah.
And it said this is what it said.
Okay.
Scott Herriott, best known for his work in Naked Gun 33 1/3.
Best known, really?
It really said that.
Wow.
First of all, is that true? Were you in that?
I was.
Wow.
But like, boy, that's sad if that's my best known. You know, I was actually an audience member, but it wasn't just like a generic. There was actually a bit where Frank Drebin is looking. He's stalling for time. Leslie Nielsen for a bomb. They're looking through the envelopes for bombs, and so he's reading the prompt or something about dolphins getting caught in nets, and he goes, but we need to eat tuna, and so if a few dolphins have to die, well, so something to that effect.
Yes.
You hear one person clapping, and they cut to me, and I'm like. And I look, nobody else is clapping, and I just put my head down the chin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also in that shot, if anybody watches, just to let you know, about 2 rows in front of me, director Paul Feig.
Oh,
really?
Ghostbusters.
Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
And comic Joel Madison also in there, too. So.
Wow. Cool. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next. No, the real reason that I was really happy to talk to him here today is some of you may remember there was a show a long time ago on the Disney Channel called, I think it was called Walt Disney World Inside Out.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And it's funny because I think most people that I know that know who you are remember you from TechTV. You were on TechTV.
And that was after that. That was like 4 years after that.
Have you been to internettonight.com recently? Well, if you haven't, we don't like you anymore.
Internet Tonight.
Internet Tonight was the show, and then that got canceled, and then they kept me on very nicely. Same pay.
Yeah.
Thank you again, TechTV. I was hanging out on the screensavers.
The screensavers, yeah.
Right.
Which was one of my favorite shows. I mean, even prior to you being on it, I liked it because I'd never seen, when I was younger, I'd never seen any kind of shows just based around technology and stuff like that. So when I found out that my family's cable plan suddenly had TechTV, I was like,
stoked.
Whoa, this is really cool. So I watched it all the time, and then I saw your show, Internet Tonight, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it was a little more on the comical side of stuff.
Well, it was more. It was all about new websites, informative, goofy, because it was like 98, right when the internet was really expanding. People were discovering it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was about the least techie-oriented host on that channel. I didn't give a crap how many gigahertz. If you gigahertz, get it looked at. But then you had, of course, Leo, who did Call for Help.
Yeah, exactly.
Screensavers.
Which is the first stuff that I saw on there.
Yeah, it was really the first geek, and I mean that lovingly.
Yeah.
Geek-oriented TV. It really was, for as far as a whole channel reaching that audience. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I loved it. I mean, again, like Internet Tonight it introduced me to all these strange sites. I remember the first time I ever saw, and I'm sure everyone out there has a story about the first time they ever went to Zombo.com.
Oh my God, dude, my favorite website. That's so weird you said that.
Yeah.
It's still around, by the way.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Zombo.com, go there. It's still amazing, as good as it ever was. Every update has enhanced it. I'll just say that in every way. But anyway, so stuff like that.
It's so funny.
I remember I hadn't heard of Fark.com until So anyway, so I loved that show. But I really have to say this, and I know we're supposed to talk about Disney stuff, so we're going off the rails here.
Whatever.
But my favorite work of yours, I think, is definitely when once that show ended and they moved you to the screensavers.
Yeah, I think
because the screensavers was a lot of tech help and talking about whatever. you showed up on the screensavers, and it was like you were destroying the show. It was like you were there, and it was like, okay, someone has infiltrated. Is that fair to say?
Well,
is that insulting? I'm sorry.
In a way, no. It's funny you should mention that because I was watching an old movie I made called Journey Toward Squatchdom, available at squatchfilms.com.
Oh, there you go.
With Squatching on a DVD, and I watched it with my girlfriend today.
Oh, okay.
And when I do a lot of comedy, I'm super dry, super mean.
Yeah.
I was heavily influenced by like early Letterman, and I go, oh my god. I think that was close to the time when I was doing that, and I played it super dry on that show. I just would not. I hate doing, hey everybody, where like Leo can get into that whole and my co-host was kind of that way. She was that. I hate that in certain things.
Yeah.
So I would go to the other extreme. I'd be very dry.
Yeah.
Say the lines, drop some things in there, and. Yeah, some people did not like me.
Well, you were and that's what I enjoyed was that you didn't play that game. Everyone else was like, "Well, Leo, it's great. Yeah, of course you can clear cookies in a very easy step." And then you would be like at E3 and not interviewing any of the developers. You'd be going up to the people putting the booth together, and like there'd be a pile of screws, and you'd be like, "Oh, free convention swag, thanks." And it was just like you're asking a kid with a cardboard box, "Hey, is that the Xbox? What is that?"
Yeah.
And it was just like, "Wow, this guy is just on a tear of his own," and that made it entertaining.
I think, and a lot of that was because I was the least techie host they got at that point in time, and I kind of played that up, and I liked the comedic thing. It was kind of, the way I like to do that is like, it was kind of like Daily Show-esque before the Daily Show came on.
Yeah.
And I really, because I hate the fakiness of tea. I just hate that. Oh, we're on? Okay, put it on. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
It's just not me.
Yeah. Sure.
So, but I think it worked in a lot of ways. I mean, you seem to like it. Some people, didn't. In fact, I remember one of our producers came to me one day, and he was a gamer. I forgot what game he was playing. He goes, I was playing last night. I was playing against this guy. You want to know his name? I said, yeah. He goes, Scott Herriott must die. There
you have it.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I did.
So.
Well, I did. And so the reason, so kind of bringing that up first is I remember watching your stuff on TechTV, and I remember every time they aired one of your segments or anything, whatever, I was like, this guy is funny, but he seems familiar. There's something really familiar about this guy. And then I remembered that, when I was younger in the earlier 90s, you hosted this Disney Channel show, as I said, Walt Disney World Inside Out, and I realized that, like, it really imprinted on me when I was younger. I'd never seen something with that level of sarcasm before.
I know. That's what I loved about that. Before we started taping, I was telling them about the production company. The name evades me now. But they were just great people, and we wanted, because Disney Channel, hi, it said, hey, and I was trying to go in a different, more snarky,
right,
just to balance out all the treacly stuff that's just baked into Disney.
Well, here we are at the terrifying new alien encounter where they're going to be transporting a live alien creature right into the same room with us. Try to contain your enthusiasm.
And I thought the show was getting better and better, but lo and behold, I think a lot of the execs thought it was getting worse and worse. And so, as I was telling them before taping, is that after that first season, they canned the production company, they canned me, and then they hired George Foreman to come on there. It's a wonderful place, Disneyland.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Once the show shifted to them, it was just a commercial for it.
It was like an infomercial.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, I specifically remember watching that with like my little brother. And we were both just like, this is boring. Like, but when you hosted, it was both like you cared and you didn't care, and that's what made it entertaining. Is that you could tell you had a knowledge of the subject, but also you were willing to poke fun at it, and it wasn't like, I think people are afraid to do that. Yeah.
Here's a little story, dude.
Yeah.
Let me share it with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done like 2 or 3 episodes, right? Yeah. And then of course, Disney's pretty controlling. And look, when I was a kid, loved Disneyland. I still generally like Disney. Puts out a lot of good, creative stuff.
Sure.
But it can get a little fakey when you get big and corporate-y like that and whatnot.
Sure.
So, it's like the 3rd episode, and I had been doing man on the street stuff, a lot of just improv, snarking with people and whatnot. And so they go, now we have to. What we should do with the mic is we'll put what they literally call, I think they call it a mouse, on it that had a Mickey Mouse head. So when I'm interviewing people, so the first episode, I might have played a little coy. If anybody goes back to that episode somewhere on YouTube, somewhere, I have freaking hand is covering the whole. I'm holding the cube, and they actually come up to me. Oh, Scott, just to let you know, I don't know if you knew it or not, but you're coming in. And go, oh, you want me to? Okay, slide the hand. Got. So I knew I couldn't get away with it after that anymore. So there was always that little, trying to push.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that was what, like I said to you earlier. I think that show. It sounds strange, but that show came out around the same time I discovered stuff like Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, and stuff where it was like, as a kid, I was discovering like this kind of like, sarcasm and all these weird kind of subversive things, whatever, and that show just played into that, where it was, I thought it was actually like really ahead of its time, honestly, because it showed the sweetness of Disney and like, look at all these magical places you could go, but it had that 90s snark to it that I think actually made it interesting to watch. It wasn't just a promo.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, but that's, I was really heavily, and it's pretty easy to see it if you see in those episodes, but I was super heavily influenced by Letterman. His show started in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I had just got out of college, and I was like many other people, who I went and did stand-up and pilots and did that show, but so influenced, and because he just made so much fun of the format itself. It was really the first popular anti-talk show. And that's what made Letterman great. That he just wouldn't. He would stay present, and if there was any deceit, he would poke fun at it. You can come on and talk about your. But then everybody got in the spirit of that, and it kind of became that. And I think we've. The damn millennials are too goddamn sensitive now. They don't want to make fun of anybody. And there's Charlie, by the way.
Oh, great.
Hello, doggy. So it's interesting. I always, it's funny. You kind of hold on to those sensibilities. I always just think, that still does exist, snarkiness, but it's not as big as it once was.
Yeah.
Let's go to a clip.
Well, I feel like in the 90s it was kind of, I don't know, things are cyclical, and I feel like in the 90s, in the same way that Nirvana blew up, it was kind of like an answer to, rock music is this way. Well, we're going to tear it apart.
Blow it up,
I feel like that was kind of where comedy was in that time. Well, at least the good stuff. Like I said, like Space Ghost was the answer to like these straight talk shows, and you're, I don't know why I keep bringing Space Ghost up in this interview. They sponsored us or something.
When you brought that up, and before we taped it, you did it. That's an honor. Three Space Ghost is the
awesome.
Pinnacle. If you've never seen Space Ghost, it is. And it's one great thing about Space Ghost: 15-minute episode.
Yep. Yes.
Super short.
Yeah.
Breaks the actual celebrities on there on video on a cartoon screen where a cartoon host. It's genius.
Yeah.
I really think that show is so good. So
well,
fun.
again, so I think, like I said, that and your show and all that in that era, it just felt like the right thing at that time, and especially for me, like I said, like.
Wait a minute. Okay. I know we're still rolling. If you give me 2 minutes, I'll be right back. You'll like that.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Does my ass stick out on these pants?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll be right
I
back.
think it's okay. All right. Anyway, I'm not sure if at any point during this episode I don't know if he's grabbing a cigarette to ask if he can smoke here.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
It happens every episode,
it's his
so
house.
maybe.
So if he wants to.
Is this a smoking
He
area?
told us when he was here before taping this that they shot a lot of E.T. around here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's giving locations, and we shouldn't, but I thought that was cool. It seemed familiar.
It seemed very, very E.T. like 80s neighborhood.
There's E.T. vibes here for sure. That's about it I've got for vamping. But good, he's back. Okay, he's got a surprise. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exclusive.
You've never seen it.
Okay.
A Space
Ghost.
You
have.
Wow.
Right there, dude. That's Space Ghost.
Okay. Wow. There you have it.
Well, you really $5 to touch it.
Okay. Well, it was worth it.
Yeah.
You really. Wow.
So you
weren't kidding around, and there is actual change in there. Wow. So we're not kidding.
I think it's Uruguayan
Oh, that's good.
nickels.
Well, we'll figure out how to spend that when we're done here. But no, that's great. Now that should have been here from the get-go.
I know.
We got a visual.
I should have thought of it when you mentioned it before the taping.
No. Well, anyway. So yeah, we talked about. Anyway, so working on the show, I'm surprised. I didn't realize you were only on it for a year because. And again, you know, when you're younger, time goes very differently. Yeah. So a year feels like nothing now. Mm-hmm. But back then, I felt like I was watching on that show forever. So that's really crazy.
It was one a month. Yeah, so I did 12.
Oh, okay.
It was good pay.
Yeah.
Flew you back first class. We had like celeb. We got to meet Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Threw me over his shoulder.
Didn't Hulk Hogan film his show in Epcot? I think he did.
Yeah, something nearby. I think he was living near there.
Oh, really?
And yeah, but he was cool.
He had a show called like Thunder. Oh no, what was it?
Yeah.
Thunder in Paradise or something? Is that
what
it was?
I remember seeing that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they shot scenes in like the Morocco Pavilion and like
really?
Epcot
I didn't know
or
that.
something.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Something like that.
Right. That's why, in fact, that was part how it tied into the
show. They wanted to promote that movie on the show. Yeah.
So, well, great. Well, no, so... Yeah, so you worked on it. It was a whole year.
Yeah.
You did it one a month for 12 months.
Yes.
Did you shoot them all at once, or do you just came back every month?
No, it was, and it's lovely, by the way, in Central Florida in summertime.
Oh yeah.
Woo. Not being used to humidity, being raised in Southern California.
Yeah.
No, it was just each, and then they would like if you shot one in January, then that would air in February.
Okay.
Pretty much. So. Yeah, they did this year cycle, booted me in the production company, but kept going with the... and then actually I think Foreman did it, and then it went on for like 2 or 3 years. And then Foreman left, and they got
another host?
I remember some actress hosted it or something.
The kid who was on Married with Children.
No, David Faustino?
I think he hosted. I swear I think he did.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Once you were out, I saw a couple Foreman...
I mean, the quality dropped
I saw a couple
Foreman
episodes, and I was out. I was like, I'm gonna use your grill, and that's about it. I'm done. But anyway, but those episodes were great. Was there any... Yeah, so you said generally good experience, though, working on it?
It was good. There was always that battle that ebbed and flowed.
Sure.
Here's a quick story. There was, because I wouldn't follow the script sometimes.
Of course,
because I just thought some of it was BS. And there was a lady who was one of the liaisons on exec there, and she had lunch today. Hey, we should have lunch. And then she showed me this letter from Michael Eisner. Hey, that Scott Herriott's really good, his future, he's like Chevy Chase or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like showing me the letter C, so you better shape up or something like that. I was like, God, you're making me want to just do more deconstructive things.
Yeah.
And then we had a director. I remember this guy because he literally was a director of the show, and he had a long stringy hair, and he'd sit there and he would pick his nose like that. I think we're gonna go, and he would be in there with a double knuckler. Going in there, and then he and I we clashed. So there was that, but overall, it was really fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, the pay was good.
That's cool.
First class, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you were kind of a Disney, were you really into the parks beforehand, or not really?
No, I think my love of, when I was a kid, with Disneyland so close.
Of course, okay, yeah, of course.
Loved going to, Pirates of the Caribbean, loved the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
All that. So I would say it probably represented an average Disney love, which most people do. I've never hated Disney.
Yeah.
I just think as it went through time, and like I mentioned, the corporatization.
Of course.
And it's just, But again, a lot of things associated with Disney have been really good.
Yeah.
It's happening in the Eisner era. And Eisner kind of brought back some good stuff. I think it was kind of going away, and then he was a little more creative, got it back, and then it's gone through all these other changes since then. But I would say average overall.
Sure,
yeah.
Of course. It's funny when because I was the same way, grew up in Southern California, so Disneyland was the thing, and it was like, wow, this is insane. And it's funny because I remember as a kid watching Inside Out, and it was like, wow, I don't know anything about Disney World, like in Florida, and it's funny because I've talked with people who have said like, oh, I remember seeing that show, and that made me want to go and go to the East Coast and check this out, and how it blew their mind and it inspired them to go check it out. And it's, I don't know what it says about me as a kid, but I found it completely intimidating. Like, I honestly, watching that show, I was like, this seems like a hassle. Like, I mean, no, honestly, because everything was in, like, different parks, and, go here, you want to go on Star Tours? Well, take the thing to this park, and it was like, I don't know how, like, obviously I wanted to check it out, I mean, don't get me wrong, but I just saw my family trying to organize all this, and I was like, man, Disneyland, you could just walk up.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was really young, I would mix them up all the time.
Yeah.
I would, like, they would be, like, a big episode of, like, Full House or something.
Yeah.
And they would go to Disney World, but in my head, I'm a kid, like, oh, Disneyland.
Yeah.
They're going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, like, I was young, and I'm like, oh, that's all I know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The first thing I always said before I did the show, and obviously Walt Disney World had already been around probably, about 20 years? Probably since the 70s?
71 is when Magic Kingdom opened. So they kind of staggered, Epcot was 82.
And I always think, what's the first park icon everybody thinks about is the castle.
Yeah.
Right? It's the thing.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the Walt Disney World because it was too futuristic. I love the old, and I think they've kept it pretty much the same at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I just love that probably because that's when I was growing up in the 60s. And then, of course, I would watch on Sunday nights Walt Disney himself would actually present these shows with kind of cool movies.
Yeah, they ran a bunch of those just like a year or so ago. Yeah. In their like Lincoln Theater, they would
they
had
in
like
the Opera
special
House.
events and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That was really wow. What was it?
Wow, that was fast. Those hummingbirds.
Check the 4K when you go back.
That's in slow mo right there.
Charlie just dug a hole in the back. I gotta go. My dog just dug a hole. I'm gonna get it later.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was always my appeal. I liked going as a kid, but it was honestly in my 20s that I was like, oh wow, there's like some history to this or whatever. Yeah. But I didn't really learn about Disney World until like the past few years, and then it was like, oh, this is actually something I can do. As a kid, to me it was like, how the hell can anyone plan this whole thing? Like, I don't know, this seems intimidating. And then a few years ago I finally went, and it was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But was there anything in particular that you saw in your time recording the show? Did you get it? Was there anything like kind of like maybe the public didn't see, or something you saw that was like, whoa, this is crazy,
I actually got to see Walt's frozen body.
Oh, there it is.
It's his head and his left arm. That's it. I don't know. There must have been some kind of industrial accident.
Yeah, that's enough.
But no, it's funny because kind of the premise of the show was about behind the scenes. How does this work? So like everything that was kind of cool, we would show on the show anyway.
Yeah.
So I just always I really liked the Haunted Mansion stuff.
Yeah.
And how the different effects work, and going to the Imaginarium, the
Journey into Imagination?
Oh no, the people who worked for Disney who created this stuff.
Imagineering.
The Imagineering.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Going there, meeting some of those folks.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's so long ago. I just remember a lot of the celebrities were cool. Nancy Kerrigan was, coming off. She was still hobbling. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there.
I remember that episode because they did this effect where it looked like you were
flying or something.
Skating, and then
and my leg is missing at the bottom. You notice the blue screen didn't cover like my face.
Oh, okay.
I was in an industrial accident going there. Yeah, she wasn't the warmest. She wasn't.
Oh,
I think
really?
She was supposed to. Yeah, she was all right, but
she didn't like that you were doing the effects. Maybe they thought she thought you were faking it.
I'm just trying to remember who Kevin Nealon was on, but I don't think I met Kevin Nealon. Just did a side thing on it. And Hulk Hogan, like I mentioned, was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So.
The Haunted Mansion, more specifically, that was always my favorite ride here in California. And going to the one in Florida, it was kind of I had a lot of people always telling me like, oh, that one's even better. That one's even better. And of course I fought that at every turn. I was like, no, and I was the first one. Like that's how I always am. It's like, we got the original, it's better. But I liked the one in Florida a lot.
It's good.
I actually thought, because it had a couple extra things. It had the library in it. And,
I like
stuff like that.
I don't think the pirate stands up as much to the
which one? Oh, they're pirates over there.
They're pirates.
No, the Pirates of the Caribbean over there sucks. It's like,
is it? I didn't. So compared to
compared to here, it's not as good.
For some reason, the best one in the world is still the original one.
Yep.
Because it's like that one, they committed to like how big it needed to be, and you have the cavern with the skeletons and all that.
The
one in Florida is
abbreviated.
abbreviated.
Right? Did you hear about the dropping the wenches? Is that what they're doing?
So that's
selling the wenches.
We were just there today because they're closing it like the day after tomorrow.
Yeah. I think
so
Monday it's like
we said our goodbyes before
to
this.
The wenches.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that they already did that in Florida, and I honestly think personally, visually, the change doesn't look that bad to me.
No.
And in terms of like, okay, they changed it. Now they're just auctioning off a bunch of crap instead of people.
Yeah.
But the audio, from what I've seen, but you're about to go soon,
Yes.
so you haven't watched any of this. Yeah,
So
I thought
I've kept my eyes over. I did see it in Paris, but it was all in
Okay.
French, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
true.
I don't know what they were saying.
But a lot of the new audio was a little bit like. I wish they would have found a way to keep the old audio.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I don't want to spoil it for him. He's very spoiler sensitive
Yeah.
about
I'm going in 3
pirate
days.
rides. Yeah, you are, huh?
Yep.
Oh, geez. Well, anyway, we should have recorded this after you got back, so you
I
had
know.
fresh thoughts on Disney.
Exactly.
We blew it anyway. But anyway, so yeah. Was there a particular attraction that was your favorite, or one that
Well, Matterhorn, and especially because we haven't mentioned my obsession about, I've always been obsessed by Bigfoot, relic hominids in the world. So especially when the Yeti was added to Matterhorn.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. I mean, I always liked the Matterhorn anyway, but then that was put in, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Matterhorn, Pirates of the Caribbean, my sister was always terrified of that. I always remember. I love Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That just had such a that butler you hit right in the ass when you go in. Remember that? You go in and hits a butt, and then it goes in this round, and just kind of a creepiness to a fun creepiness.
Yes,
So,
that's really kind of the stuff we like to talk about when we record this stuff, is the fun creepiness, where it's like, why is this here? Why is that a human skull in Pirates? Like,
Right.
Stuff like that. And so that was always what kind of drew me to the Disney parks, is like, it felt like there was always something in every older attraction or whatever. There was always some story like that. Like, oh yeah, that's a cadaver skeleton. Oh, that over there, this bricked up tunnel over here, they were going to have a tomb, but they sealed it up.
that's Jim. He was working on the ride in '71, and we finally found him.
Yeah.
So.
Was there, did you find yourself like, I mean, what was the day shooting there like for you? Like, did you have to go, like, there's certain episodes where you'd be on an attraction where, like, I remember there was someone who'd have a challenge, like, oh, okay, I'm with these people, like, trying not to spill a cup of water on, like, Big Thunder and stuff. Did you have to ride that, like, 100 times, or what?
I remember we didn't seem to do an inordinate amount of takes, but the one you just reminded me of, we did this one, I think, on the log ride, whatever that was part of, or what the name of it was at the time. And they wanted me to do this like German scientist character, and I'm sitting behind people. So what do you think of the blah, blah, blah? And I'm just saying that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because I was just messing with these folks who got on it, joking with them, and acting super scared and getting wet in the process.
Yeah.
I don't really recall anything that took, like, oh gosh, we're gonna have to come back tomorrow. It's or anything like that. But yeah, it was a really good crew. I remember that. The makeup people, like I said, the producers, and you would just always dread if you got to know who the Disney reps were.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if we were shooting something, you just didn't want to see them on the set.
Oh, really?
It always felt a little intimidating.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So
they were the big ears and the gloves with the 3 fingers.
Of course, yeah. You don't want to see that.
No.
Did you ever actually, like, you mentioned, like, Michael Eisner, there was a letter from him or whatever. Did you ever see him on set, or did you actually...
No, I never met him.
Oh, okay.
No. It was usually, I believe, it was like 4 or 5 days to shoot one episode.
Okay.
So we'd do this as part of the park, and it would usually, we'd be in different parts, Epcot or this, and then that part of the park. They'd try to... I remember, God, maybe a year ago or so, I went on YouTube and looked at one of the old episodes, and I really hated the voiceover of that guy. Hey, Scott. And the guy go, Hey, Scott, what are you up to now? What are those crazy antics he's up to now? I'm like, oh, dude, this is the thing about that show. So when I was doing the show, and I would go there to shoot the show, or every once in a while somebody would recognize me from doing the show, right?
Yeah.
But they'd always ask about that damn couch.
Oh yeah, you had like a disembodied couch, like
it would go with me.
places.
But the couch was a red couch with yellow Mickey Mouse heads on it.
Yeah,
so I'd be floating on it. Somehow they made it into a boat.
Yeah,
I'd be sitting on it, and we'd make jokes about the couch.
Yeah.
And then people love that damn couch.
Wow.
And I have no idea where it is now.
I was just gonna say, what would they do with that?
It's with James Dean's car.
Oh, well, there you go.
Somewhere in limbo.
Have you been okay? So after recording all that, like, have you ever been back to the Florida, like Disney World?
Hell no. I've never. No, I have not been back to. I've been to Florida.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not that often. To be honest, Florida, like I said, in the summer, I hate humidity.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Great place to go,
Yeah.
wintertime and whatnot, and don't have really visitable friends, I would say would be the term, that I'd gone to see. I don't know the last time I was in. It might, good Lord, it might have been the last episode.
Really? Wow.
Hey, here's a little thing. It was cool. On one of the flights, Bill Paxton, may he rest in peace, was sitting right in front of me with Ron Howard,
Oh, wow.
the director. Met Bill Paxton, very nice guy.
Yeah.
And they had just, so this was flying back to Los Angeles, and they had just gone there to meet the astronaut that Bill Paxton was going to play in Apollo 13.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, like,
That's awesome.
they were sitting right in front of me, and the whole, you're watching. Bill Paxton's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Ron Howard's just like working on notes, the script or whatever the whole time. And this is Charlie. Anybody can see
Hi
him.
again, Charlie.
I don't know what he held.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
It's okay.
How's it going?
No biting. Right?
Yeah, you want to chime in on that?
No biting or leg humping, please. Okay. I don't know what Charlie is. He's might be part. He's definitely part some kind of pit bull. He might be part basset hound as well. Actually, it's a small person in a suit. We just had to. He's
There you have
CG'd
it.
in.
There you have it. There you go.
So, since you haven't been there recently, you haven't seen like the Yeti on Expedition Everest or anything, have you?
No.
That thing is
you would. You'd have a
massive.
field
Really?
day.
Yeah.
You'd have a field day. Well, that's one of the funniest aspects of Walt
funny
Disney World.
and sad. Yeah.
So they have this park. It's open since you've been there, so I'm assuming you never went.
Yeah.
That Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's actually, I think this is the 20th anniversary right now. It was open in '98.
Yeah.
And so they've got this ride, Expedition Everest. It's a roller coaster. I mean, they built Everest. I mean, it looks. I don't think it's quite to scale, but it's somewhere around there. But this big ass mountain, and they got the roller coaster going through it. Then you get to the end of the track, and all of a sudden, surprisingly, it's broken. Everything's frayed, and it's like, there's all these signs leading up to it that we've seen a Yeti, right? They just call it the Yeti, right?
Yeah.
And that they've seen it, but whatever. And then you get to the track. You've actually been on it.
It's been
I didn't go on it. I skipped it.
You get to a point of the track that's been ripped up by the Yeti, and basically you go backwards.
Yeah, suddenly it snaps backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the mountain you see.
Yeah, at the very end you go by. You basically once you go by, you see this video of this projection. It's supposed to be a shadow of the Yeti messing stuff up and everything, and then you go to finish the ride, and that's when you see the animatronic.
Yeah, which I think is the biggest animatronic ever made.
I've seen behind the scenes videos. I don't know exactly. You can sit in its hand. If you see if you see the behind the scenes video of that, and they have this hand next to them, it's massive. It's
King Kong.
It's huge. Yeah, it's absolutely Titanic.
And it was the fastest moving, biggest animatronic at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
And basically it lunges out at the car for every car and everything.
Oh wow.
I'd say maybe a few months in.
Yeah, I don't know how long, but not very long.
Not very long. The foundation cracked for this animatronic.
Oh my god.
And so they went, well, we can't have it move anymore. We have to fix the animatronic. We have to fix the foundation before we can, so it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't mess the foundation up anymore. And to fix it, they actually have to. It's so integrated into the mountain, they would actually have to remove parts of the mountain to fix this section.
They'd have to rip the whole thing.
So this ride opened up in 2007 or
has
6?
It been that long? I thought it was even before that. I don't know. I actually don't know, but long time.
It's been a long time, and they have still not fixed it.
Broken out the gate.
Yeah, it broke out the gate. It worked for 6 months, and that's it. And they have a strobe light on it whenever you go by now to have simulated movement.
It doesn't it's just frozen, and they flash a strobe on it.
Still looks insane because it's massive, but it doesn't move anymore.
Figure all the dough they have. Come on, man, fix that.
and the Imagineer who was in charge of that whole ride
Joe
has stated
Rohde.
that he wants to fix it, and he has promised I will fix that in my lifetime. and but it still hasn't been fixed.
He told a story. I follow him on Instagram. This guy, Joe Rohde, who he just did the Guardians of the Galaxy thing here, and but Animal Kingdom was like his park.
Exactly.
And he just wrote on Instagram or something the other day that he's like, I came back from like Nepal and showed my passport, and the dude looked it over and went, fix that Yeti anytime soon? He's like, great. Like, everybody knows
can't go
about
anywhere
this.
with that.
Yeah. So, anyway, so there's something you might want to check out.
Yeah.
But
it's awesome.
Maybe wait another 10 years.
Yeah.
And then
Who knows if it ever's going to be fixed. It looks great, but I wish I could seen it when it was actually moving.
Yeah. But,
maybe do mushrooms before it goes. No.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, who knows?
Okay. Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, so that kind of, I mean, you've brought up, at this point, this is our 10th reference to, like, Yeti, Sasquatch, whatever.
Yeah. Space Ghost.
Large beasts. But that's kind of what you've been doing in years since, like, TechTV and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did, let's see, wait, that's right. Well, actually, before I did TechTV, I made this short comedic film called Journey Towards Squatchdom, which was, because I've been into this stuff since I was a kid, and I think there is something to it. Like, I think there is actually a biological type of animal.
Okay, so you actually do, you're planting your flag here.
Yeah.
It exists. Okay.
And there was a thing that happened to me in 1992, 2 years before doing the Disney show, actually, in Northern California, which pretty much solidified that belief. It takes way too long. Seriously, it's a 20-minute story. Buy squatchfilms.com if you get Squatching, which comes with Journey Towards Squatchdom. It's on a DVD. I don't have a file download on that film because it's a long story. Anyway, if you're into this stuff, I think it's worth it because I genuinely think it's not a joke. There is video involved, and I think there is something to it.
Okay.
There's also a lot of misinterpretation, I think, and there's been hoaxes that have been done.
Sure, yeah.
Of course.
But it's a great topic. I really recommend it to people.
I just remember there was something, I think they asked you about it once on the screensavers, I think.
Yeah,
I think they...
Excuse me, I'm cough syrup, and not cough drop, and I'm very professional. Do you notice that? Very professional. And it was actually kind of a running joke on Internet Tonight. It'd work into the script about my interest in Bigfoot, and other people would rag on me about it, of course. And then, in fact, I did just, last night? 2 nights ago? I just did a podcast.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
I actually did a podcast for 7 years, still available on iTunes and wherever you look on the web, called The Bigfoot Show.
Oh, okay.
And the guy I co-hosted that show with, we just did this show because we haven't done a show in 3 years because Brian got tired of it and he works on it. But Brian has just been involved with this really interesting research in of all places, southeastern Oklahoma. And Brian is not a kook. He's not he's pretty scientifically grounded, and they've had some really interesting things happen in this area that has a history of sightings, and it's really remote, and check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. Squatchfilms.com.
Will do.
Okay.
But you've done a bunch of documentaries. About that and among other things.
Right. Well, it's basically 2 topics I've done over the last 13 years. Long distance hiking trails and Bigfoot related. I mean, I did Squatching and Journey Towards Squatchdom. One is comedic, one's serio-comic. And then 2 years ago I did this. There's a new trail in Northwest California, the area where this thing happened to me in 1992, called the Bigfoot Trail. Oh. It's 360 miles long, goes through this really beautiful, remote, difficult terrain. So I hiked the whole trail in various sections with different friends, and we talk about Bigfoot along the way. I talk about this incident that happened in '92 that involves videotape. We got some nice drone shots. Go to the little towns up there. So I was really happy how that film turned out. If you've never been up there, northwest corner of California, super wild terrain up there.
Oh,
and the famous, you guys are probably familiar with the famous 1967 Patterson film. Yeah. Where's alleged Bigfoot, which, even though I'm a strong believer that such creatures exist, I actually lean pretty heavily that was a hoax.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Because I've read both the pro and con arguments, and I've kind of come to the conclusion it probably was a hoax, but it's a great mystery. Yeah. Read more about the Patterson film.
Okay. Will do. Yeah. But you've done other documentaries, too, just kind of about, like...
Hiking,
walking, you name it.
Long distance trails. In 2003, I had done a Bigfoot, or in 2002, I had done Squatching, right? And I was looking to do I want to do another documentary. I really enjoyed this. Sure. Learning how to, I edited the whole damn thing on my PowerBook, with no mouse, by the way, all with finger pad.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. It was like
I think we did
Sorry.
I think our first DVD I did it
You
that
did
way
it with
too.
a finger pad?
Like we did like 6 half-hour episodes, and I think I only.
Now, was it a finger pad or that little red nub?
No
no
nub.
Think pad. You're
Not
looking at
doing the
think pad,
nub.
right?
Not doing the nub. Sorry.
So I'm driving up in Antelope Valley. I don't know if you're aware of that up there, and I which is north of here near Palmdale. And I was driving, and I see this sign and I'd heard of the Pacific Crest Trail. I actually hiked a little bit on it, like 15 miles years ago. And I thought, I'm fresh coming off the Sasquatch stuff. This trail goes from the Mexican border all the way to Canada, 2,658 miles, give or take a few miles. And those would be some people to talk to about possible relic hominid run-ins. And so I went to a big kickoff party down near the border. I was there about 15 minutes. These people are awesome. These adventurers, they had stories. Actually, I got a story from a guy who had a print he had found in 97 or 98. He let me use it in the film. It's doesn't look fake at all to me. I mean, it could be fake, but he's a legit dude. And so that got me going on it. And so I made 4 films about the PCT. And then I got into the Appalachian Trail back east, did 3 films on that, completed both of those trails.
Wow.
In doing that. Then I went to Iceland for a year, did that a few years ago. Did the Camino de Santiago in Spain and France, which is a great pilgrimage trail there.
Really? Jeez.
And then went to Australia this past year and made a film, which is my newest, 3 trails in Australia. Let's go to a clip.
Wow.
That is good.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't, with the snake.
Yeah, the snake and the monitor lizard. Cool thing, if you like animals, Australia is a great place to go. There are just some great weird ass poisonous shit there.
I was going to say that's kind of been the reason I haven't gone there yet.
Everything's poisonous.
I feel like everyone I talk to, it's like, oh man, spider as big as a dog. It was crazy. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm staying here.
The thing is, though, it's so, I hiked about 800 miles there on 3 different trails, hence the title, 3 Trails in Australia.
Wow.
And the Bibbulmun track, the one I did in the Southwest, that is seriously has some of those beautiful terrain I've ever walked on. Imagine a trail, it's up about a quarter mile off pristine ocean, and for 2-3 days I'm hiking on this beautiful ocean, never saw a boat, hardly saw anybody coming in the other direction. It's not that there's no towns nearby, but it's just, Australia has 7% of the population of the U.S. So it's much more pristine.
Yeah.
I got to throw this in real quick about how big and remote Australia is. Bill Bryson, great author, wrote this in his book. He wanted to illustrate how big and remote Australia is. In the mid 90s, there was a seismic event recorded that they initially thought somewhere near central Australia in the outback, dead of the outback in that area, and they just thought initially it was an earthquake. But when they checked all the different sensors, it didn't have the earmarks of a earthquake. So some investigators got investigated. They found out that this area where this happened was owned by a Japanese doomsday cult that had been known to have... sounds tabloid, but it's actually been verified that they did recruit 2 atomic/nuclear scientists because they had wanted to create a nuclear device. And they think because they're almost absolutely sure it was not an earthquake, that they actually detonated a nuclear device underground. But it only was picked up and felt by a few people because it's so remote.
Whoa.
Isn't that a trippy story?
Man.
Great book. In a Sunburned Country by Bill Bryson. It's in that book.
Wow, that's crazy.
But before you go there, go to squatchfilms.com.
Yeah, there you go. There you have it.
Did I mention download, streaming, DVD, and Blu-ray?
Oh, okay. So any format you need. Really.
Really. It's it.
And VHS, sorry.
No.
You guys got to update.
Betamax, you're screwed.
It's time to flip the switch.
But for a reasonable price, I will do sketches of
there you go.
You
just and you maybe call them, describe what could have been in it.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have my first job be at Blockbuster. And man, I was there right at that VHS DVD death knell.
Yeah.
And it was great because it was that kind of era where Lord of the Rings Part 1 came out on tape and then 2 and 3 didn't. Oh. So that was great. You just had customers that were like, "What? You didn't get the 2 Towers on tape?" And no one I know has a VCR anymore. Yeah. And it was just like, my whole library is tape, and they would have these meltdowns in front of you. And I feel lucky. I honestly am really happy I got to work there. You know what I mean? Because it's gone now, and I'm happy I got to get in there before it was,
I've personally experienced what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
From the transition from DVD to just everybody primarily downloading it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just noticed this. DVD sales strong, and then slowly, you just see downloads go up, discs go down.
Oh yeah.
You still got those folks.
I feel like we're our show Mega 64.
Yeah.
I feel like we're one of the only online shows that I know of that is selling like Blu-ray box sets of our stuff. Like I think the Angry Video Game Nerd is doing it. I can't think of anybody else.
That's it.
Oh, Rooster Teeth maybe.
Oh yeah.
I know you're a big Rooster Teeth nut.
Yeah.
So you probably have that box set, but yeah, it's really like, but I think with us, it's like more, we're able to, I think people dig it because we make it really collectible. Like we'll put it in a fancy package with all this extra stuff. And I think it's just like, it becomes like a memento more so than like, this is my primary way of watching these guys. So, I don't know.
Personalize it.
Yeah, exactly. Put some bells and whistles. I'm sure if you, throw in the Space Ghost thing with a couple,
there's no way, man.
Whatever.
I could get $17-18 for that.
Yeah.
On eBay right
easily.
Now.
I mean, easily. That's awesome. Well, yeah. So, yeah. What was it about? Like, how did you? I guess how did this become your calling? All these like, all the hiking and stuff like that. Like, what really inspired you to do all that? It seems so. I mean, it's intimidating to me because I barely leave my house. But like.
Yeah. Well, I was always, I was a pretty good athlete growing up, and I love the outdoors. My dad was a big fisherman. In fact, my dad still kicking at 86, fishing for lingcod as we speak.
Wow.
Out of Morro
right now.
Bay. Yeah, out of Morro Bay. He actually took, what's it today? Yeah, it's an overnight boat. He's going up the coast from Morro Bay.
So you sleep on the boat.
He sleeps on the boat.
Yeah. No
He'll
kidding.
be back tomorrow, hopefully.
That's crazy. Go to a clip.
So,
no, sorry, we didn't film that.
And I think the Bigfoot stuff ties in there too. And I just love forests. And
oh yeah.
And when I got introduced to the PCT in 2003, boy, the whole concept of Long Trail and the people of taking that time, at the very least, 2 or 3 months, to be out there, and then you go into town every like 5-6 days resupply. It's a really whole different thing, man. And so let me tell you, babe, it's great exercise. I could stand to lose like about 8.3 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm very specific.
Not me. I'm exactly where I need to be. So that's why it's kind of not my thing. But otherwise, no.
But you know what? The one thing actually, you ask about, people say, why do this? The films like the hiking stuff, and I'm like, well, I've done Kickstarter. With Brian Brown, who I mentioned earlier, who I did the Bigfoot show with. He was really the guy who said, dude, you should get involved with Kickstarter. This was again about 8 years ago, and it's been a godsend. I've been able to fund every one of my last 7 films.
Wow.
And so while I'm doing these films, I'm getting exercise. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 85.
Wow.
My dad's only 1 year older than me.
You're the same age. I heard you and your parents are the same age, and that blew me away.
Yeah, we're very advanced that way.
Wow.
And so it just has a lot of things. Exercise, the people are great. I love the outdoors. I like making films. Yeah. So I go do that for a few months, and then I take a few months usually to edit. You kind of go into hibernation there, and then try like hell to sell them and promote and do talk shows like these for people to get out there and buy it. Damn it!
But this is what I don't understand is you had the sweet gig at I saw a couple episodes you're going of the Disney show that you did, and you're going to Epcot. I mean, you pretty much had all the territories there. You could have just gone to the pavilions. I feel kind of would have saved you some time.
They're not really cooperative when you want to say, "Can I hike here for a couple months?" And they're not.
They're a lot more accommodating if you just want to drink.
Yes.
I know a lot of people that do, I had never been to Epcot. This is a Disney related show, so I guess I have to tell you a little more Disney.
Sure, it's all right.
Arbitrarily. Sure. But I had never been to, again, like until a couple years ago, I didn't really know, I knew generally about like Epcot and stuff, but I didn't really that much. Mm-hmm. I just knew, it was built in the 80s.
Keep talking, my dog's trying to get inside the house. He's very professional.
I knew they built it in the 80s. Yeah. But I was just like, well, yeah, it's the 80s, and everyone always tells me it's stuck in the 80s. It didn't sound that great, Wow. I didn't really. I was very I didn't really accept it or I didn't really want to hear that much about it because to me, I was a Disneyland guy. Yeah, that's original from the 50s, and who cares about what this thing in the 80s? And then when I went, I was really blown away by it because it was like, Epcot was something that was built. It was kind of like the Disney company's final, it was like Walt's final wish almost. Like it was, what I thought was just this cheesy thing they made in the 80s. It was like, no, in the in the 60s, right before Walt Disney died, he wanted to make this experimental prototype community of tomorrow, Epcot. He wanted it to be a living city. They didn't even know how to pull that off. I mean, it just goes to show you the clout of that guy, that he thought, oh yeah, we're going to build a domed city and everyone will live there, it's fine. And as soon as he passes away, everyone's just, what? Yeah. What are we doing? So so they did it more as a park, but they made it more about ideas instead of, instead of, oh, okay, well, we've got Snow White. It was more about, like, well, here's a pavilion where we'll show you how we, like, new technology to, like, grow plants.
Yeah, communication over here.
Yeah, this pavilion is how we use fuel for energy and stuff like that. Super exciting topics for any 5-year-old kid. But honestly, it was really cool. It was ambitious. It was it was something. There was a real ambition that I don't think they've had since then. And Michael Eisner did great stuff when he came in, but he definitely turned it into, like, all right, this is, stuff based on movies and stuff based on, the stuff that kids want to see versus, this pavilion, we're going to talk about how dinosaurs turned into oil. Yeah. And I definitely see the reasoning behind that. But it was cool going there a couple of years ago and seeing what was left of that old stuff was like, whoa, they were really, like, trying something different here. And that it really blew me away. And the reason I bring it up, going back to, then you've got the World Showcase with all the they wanted it to be like a permanent World's Fair with all these different territories, and it was really disappointing because everyone I knew who was going to Epcot or who I knew who had gone to it, all they had to report was how they drank in every territory. It was just like, oh yeah, dude, you could get oh man, I was shit-faced, I was in Morocco, I didn't know where I was. It was like, oh man, it was almost heartbreaking to be there now in, like, I think I was there in, like, 2016, and it was, wow, like, the ambition of this place is squandered on, like, I was just standing there like, I had no idea this place was like this, and no one is appreciating it almost. You know what I mean? Like, I felt really like, and I went and saw the American Adventure, which we went to that when we were there. This show with like 1,000 animatronics in it, and you don't know how they're coming out of the same place. And it was blowing my mind. I'm like, how are they all coming out of the same spot on the stage? There's been like 100 sets coming out of the spot, and I research it, and there's like, they have, like, because Florida they have all this land there, there's like an underground train that's like bringing in these animatronic sets and lifts it up and then moves on, and it's all under your feet. Yeah. It was just this level of ambition that just blew me away. And so I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know, but man, you got a lot of energy.
But you know what I mean? But I think that was really what, as intimidating as it seemed watching the show that you were on, I think that was what was so crazy to me, is that they I think that's a little bit of what's missing today, is that level of ambition. Like, they definitely put money into stuff and make a lot of cool stuff today, don't get me wrong.
But it tends to be more like tied into,
it's like, oh, hell yeah, Star Wars. Yeah, exactly.
Merchandise.
It seemed like with Epcot, they wanted to do something that was like for the good of people almost. It was just like, wow, and you would never see Disney do that now. I mean, they make cool stuff, fun stuff, but that was just, I mean, nothing like that, you know. And even like that energy ride only closed like August. Yeah. So you're only now seeing, piece by piece, little things are going away. But do you have any memories of Epcot specifically other than?
I don't. So funny you're talking about this. I'm like, I remember I wasn't as thrilled about it as just the park itself. Yeah. The rides and whatnot. Oh, I do remember. Wait a minute. I don't know if this was part of Epcot, but there was the episode where I had to learn how to scuba dive. I think it is it Epcot where it's in a giant aquarium with the
living seas. Yeah, living seas. Yeah.
So I had to dive 40 feet to go inside, and we did an interview in there
with
someone about that. I think that was probably one of the directors of the whole project. And then I think at Epcot too, I got to be up close to some manatees. That was really cool. And all that aquarium-ish stuff. I really liked. That was really cool.
That was so we when we went, I think it was like last November. Yeah. They have a thing there where so actually I should say real quick, the Living Seas area in a perfect example of what we were just talking about. The Living Seas is now the Seas with Nemo and Friends. So again,
Yeah,
like
right.
now it's all Finding Nemo stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But for the most part, the building and what's in there is the same.
Yeah.
Mostly,
Right.
like the ride is different, but
merchandise.
exactly. But anyway, but the aquarium part was still there. And when we were last there in November, they did this thing where the hotel that we stayed at, because we stayed there, it was like, oh, you get extra magic hours. So after the park closes, you can stay an extra like 2 hours or something like that. And it was on some random weeknight. So we were there at Epcot at like
empty.
11 p.m. and there was no one in it. And we went to that aquarium. I'd never really explored it before.
Yeah.
And it was like half turned off.
Yeah.
And
it was really
fish
freaky.
floating upside down.
No, it was really freaky because the manatees.
Yeah.
They have to shut the lights off for the manatees at a certain hour.
Yeah,
just
to sleep.
just to sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't know what manatees are there or anything. So I walk up and I'm just like, what's in this thing? And
It was
this
a dark room.
This big thing goes in front of and it was really freaky.
Yeah, that was
because
terrifying.
it was just in the dark. And
Yeah.
and I didn't know. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's the manatees, and there's a sign off to the side saying we have to shut the lights off.
Right.
So they can
But
sleep
for a
and stuff.
minute, we're in this dark room. I mean, it was nearly pitch black.
Yeah.
And you don't know there's anything. Oh, it's just an empty room. And suddenly the walls have things moving, and you realize you're surrounded by manatees in a dark room. There were levels of fear I didn't know. I was going to encounter.
Any nightmares after that at all?
No. After I went on Living with the Land, I was calm.
Living.
I believe.
Did you ever go on that?
When you
remember
said that, I'm blanking.
Wow.
Again,
Yeah.
it's been next year. It'll be a quarter century.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where you go, you
You go
like
through farm.
you go on a slow boat, and there's a farm, and they teach you how they grow crops.
and they
I think
grow.
now
like,
I know why I don't remember that.
Everything and I don't know if did they do this originally, but everything they grow in that ride, because you actually go through legitimate like
Like a biodome.
yeah, places where they grow stuff they use for that restaurant that's right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I don't know if that's how it was
yeah.
right
and,
when it started.
And that's what I love too. Is then
Yeah.
you go through a corridor where it's all these tanks of fish.
Yeah.
And they serve them there too. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna eat this in like
Yeah.
a second. Like
Wow.
that part was a little creepy. But
Yeah, it's weird.
So anyway, so you don't have a lot of Living with the Land like killer stories.
No, I think the Epcot. I know it almost seemed like every episode. I think we had to do something Epcot-ish.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Epcot they made a big push. It was like Epcot '94 was like their big push. It was like that
And
year
that
was
the year
like
we did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was like Epcot. They made a lot of pushes for people to specifically go there because I think it was kind of falling out of favor with a lot of people. Like Epcot when it opened was all slow ride. Really, there were no thrill rides there or anything.
Yeah.
Which
and now is there?
yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they kind of like Test
Maybe-
Track used to be World of Motion, right?
yeah. World of Motion was it was a
slow
dark ride, and now
dark
it's
ride.
Test Track. So it's
a fast car
fast
ride,
moving
yeah.
thing. And then that energy ride, Universe of Energy that we were just talking about, is going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's happening over there. And that one was a little hard to hear. That was even though the energy ride was a 40-minute slow moving, like you'd watch a movie and then you'd see dinosaurs, and it was like 40 minutes, no bathroom breaks. So it was always funny to go. It was always funny to go in there and see employees emphasize over and over again. All right, before you guys embark on this journey, this is a 40-minute. No bathroom break. Like they would bring it up so many times because I'm sure there'd be people screaming halfway through, like, "When can I get out?"
No free diaper handouts.
No. At least I didn't see any among the dinosaurs, personally.
That'd be. Yeah.
But anyway, now that's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. There's the Wonders of Life Pavilion has been closed for like 15 years or something like that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Name? You said that? It's weird. You're saying these names.
Yeah. I think there's rumors there might even be a Marvel thing in that too. So
Really?
like they are going nuts with all the like properties they own.
Yeah.
But otherwise though, I really liked Epcot. I mean, I like the like goofy ass slow rides. I'm not a thrill ride guy. I like the weird like old dark rides from.
I like both. I'm a
Mr.
good
Toad,
even.
thing like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
What was the one that's similar to Mr. Toad? There was.
At Disneyland or Disney
Yeah,
World?
Disneyland. What was that? Alice in Wonderland. Wasn't
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was kind
Alice
of
in Wonderland.
Like
They have Pinocchio. They have Peter Pan.
Snow White.
They have.
Yeah. There's something because I always wanted to go when I was a kid. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the Matterhorn, and Haunted Mansion,
Yeah.
and Pirates.
Yeah.
Of course.
Those are always my favorite.
Those are classics.
But that's what blew me away is then, again, like going to Epcot,
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was going to be when I first went. And so when I went on Spaceship Earth, it was like, oh wow, this is kind of like pirate. You know, it was
Yeah.
like the history of like human communication and stuff like that. And I don't think that's changed very much since you've last been there. So I loved it because it was a little bit untouched by time. Some of it. What's funny is that ride in 2007 got like a little bit of an update.
Yeah.
And then what it was is they added touchscreens to the back of the seats to where it was like, oh, it takes your picture, and then at the end of the ride, it puts your head on like a character that shows like what you'll be doing in the future. And what's funny is this ride is about, you know, communication and, you know, how it's evolved from cave paintings all the way to the internet, you know, whatever.
Right.
And what's funny is that update to the ride came about a day before the iPhone got announced.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was like they did that, and they're like, oh, people are going to be blown away.
That's the future, you can
with this
touch
touch screen, you could put your head on this character, and then it was a day later, kids were doing that on, like, their iPhone. So it was like, ooh, just kind of missed that. Anyway, missed the boat on that. But anyway, I wanted to bring up Epcot just because, again, that represented something that was wholly something that Florida had that was very different than anything we had here. Magic Kingdom was very similar and this and that, whatever. Although I love that they have the Carousel of Progress over there.
Yes.
But we should have that back in Disneyland. That show is that should be a Disneyland show. But
so it's been out of Disneyland for a while.
Yeah, they moved it from Disneyland to Disney.
It was in the World's Fair
Yeah.
in '64, and then when that was over, it went to Disneyland for only 6 years, really, which kind of blew me away. The early '70s, they sent it to Florida, and it's been there ever since. It's never moved. Did you watch that show a ton when you were over there? Or?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Carousel of Progress.
You know, I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
you probably saw it
was
here.
That sponsored? Wait, was that sponsored by General?
GE,
yeah. That's right. And it was,
Well, that's still over there in Florida.
Have they got an animatronic Trump yet?
They do.
They just added
in the Hall of Presidents.
Does the hair fly up back and whatnot?
That was closed a long time because typically whenever there's a new president, you know, they close it 2 months, it opens back up. Yeah. It took almost a year.
Yeah.
I think they were scared of responses to whatever.
Yeah.
So they closed it adding our new president, and it seriously took like a year almost. Yeah. And it finally, people were saying like, is this even going to open back up? Like, what's going on?
It was closed when we went.
Yeah, we didn't get to go, but in the past couple months, it finally opened up. And then another rumor that I heard was that they had pretty much already cashed their chips and made like a Hillary animatronic, and then went, no.
And they just put the Trump wig on that.
Yeah, there are pictures online that people have taken where it's like it kind of does look like a Hillary animatronic that maybe they re-skinned or something. Like there's conspiracy theories, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
But does that entice you to go now that you know that's
maybe a little bit?
Yeah,
I am. I'm 83. I was 85 a minute ago.
Oh yeah, sure.
But, you got younger as we did this.
Yeah, there's that thing. You get older and you're like, going to I just have no desire to go to Magic Mountain, which is just all thrill rides.
Yeah, I'm same here.
But I was actually just talking to my girlfriend we were talking about Disneyland, about maybe going there. A couple days ago we did. So, that would be kind of... Yeah. It's weird, though. You get older, and then it's like part of you doesn't almost want to ruin that magical memory. Because as you get older, you do get, you get a little more, usually a little more perceptive in seeing things and how they work, as opposed to when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't want to see all the springs and the levers, even though doing Walt Disney World, that's what it was all about.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think even as you get older, you see more. You get more into actual reality, unless you're Trump.
Yeah.
But drive away. I'm guessing there's probably not he probably has some Trump followers who watch this. Sure. You never know. Sure. He's. Okay, next topic.
Yeah. No, but anyway, well, I think you should go. I think, you know what? Let me know when you go. We'll bring the camera. Dude, we'll do Disneyland Inside Out. We'll act like the show never paused.
Yeah. I'll try to hold a cup of water on Big Thunder.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Whoa, can you do it?" And I'll be like the George Foreman character. I'll say everything's great.
How soon before you think we're kicked out? Before they, people?
They're not gonna.
No.
They're gonna. Once I'm like, "Hey, you know who this is?" They're gonna be like.
Then they'll really kick me out. Then they'll go, "Yeah, we know who it is."
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know me.
Anytime I've had a run-in with a celebrity at Disneyland, it's been a positive one.
Yeah.
Well, other than today, I was just saying when I was at Small World, the Kardashians were getting on the boat, and they had their own like private security team like threaten me because I was going to take a picture, and they were like, I'm gonna have Disneyland throw you out of the park. We're gonna have you banned from the, all this
just
stuff.
a picture
And it was like,
or video?
Yeah, no, I was just picking up my camera and immediately did, and I instinctively like, okay, fine. And then it was like, well, you're not with Disney. Who the hell are you?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Then I took the picture. So when you see that picture online of Kris Jenner in a boat, you know where it came from. That was me. I fought the law, and the law won.
No, you won.
Oh, I won.
Well, maybe. There might be an indictment coming down soon.
Yeah, who knows?
We'll find out.
But anyway, you heard it here first. New episode of Inside Out. We're gonna tape it. It's gonna be great. He's gonna edit it. I don't have time for that. And we're gonna get that up ASAP. That'll be his next documentary coming out soon. Yeah. Only on 4K Blu-ray because he's only doing the newest format.
How many people have actually 4K screens though to watch to get the effect of?
I don't yet.
I do.
You do?
I do.
I mean, when I go to you go to Best Buy and you see those 4K screens, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What is the projected, time frame for when those type of screens will become more prevalent? Do you think?
Well, I mean, I feel like if you're buying a new TV now it's thrown in. Yeah. Now it's like that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
But I don't really know a lot of people that are like dying to get a new TV. It's like I think people are pretty happy with the one that they got. That's really like 4K 4K isn't something where it's like, oh no, I need this now or else everything sucks.
Are there there actually any network shows or cable shows that transmit 4K?
Not over like cable to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But like certain shows once they go up on Netflix, they are like Better Call Saul was not in 4K on TV, but now that it's on Netflix, like the latest episodes are, and they look awesome. Like, they look really good. Yeah.
What an odd show to be the first. You don't really think of that as being visually stunning.
Oh, every legal document that comes down. You never see. You could read the text.
You're there in court.
Yeah, it really feels like you were indicted. But anyway, So anyway, check that out. Anyway. That bit's over. All right. Anyway, I think that pretty much. I mean, I think that's mostly everything. We wanted to talk about. So yeah, thank you again. Like as I said earlier, not to gush too much, but again, watching Inside Out when I was younger, even though I had no idea how the hell I was ever going to get to Disney World, the humor of it did imprint on me. So if I was ever, a sarcastic asshole to anybody watching this. It is
my fault.
You did have a hand in that, so good. I couldn't be more honored to be here. And thank you again for sitting with us.
Sure.
And
now
talking.
Get out.
Well, all right, that's it.
All right.
Anyway, thank you again,
yeah.
Scott Herriott. And again, where should they go?
Squatchfilms.com.
Squatchfilms.com. And you know what? Screw it. I'm plugging myself too. Mega64.com. Go there too. But you've already probably been there, so definitely go to
Squatchfilms.com,
which you may have been to, but go again. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. This has been Creepy Old Crypt. What's the next episode going to be?
I have no idea.
We should drop a teaser. I don't even know what it's going to be though.
No.
We could do Main Street.
We could interview that Space Ghost.
Yeah, next episode is all Space Ghost. The Disney thing. We already got off the Disney topic this week. We're going full. We're going whole hog.
Space Ghost. That show deserves a full episode. It was so good and so still really funny.
Yes.
YouTube.
So we're going to do that next. It's all Space Ghost. We're going to talk crazy Space Ghost stories. We're not going to have any of the staff of Space Ghost. We're just going to be back here with Scott and we'll talk about it.
I'll dress up.
There you go. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching another Creepy Old Crypt. Take care. Be well. I don't know how to end that. Other than that, I'm going to keep in me walking towards the camera so it's professional.